The issue of the FCT minister denying his Igbo ancestry is actually very amusing. I've seen the FCT minister, for instance, raising his hand and vowing during the presidential primary of PDP that whoever emerges from this primary as the presidential candidate, that I vow to support the person. He later on supported Tinubu in the presidential election after the vow. I saw him also vowing he would never say anything against all the leader will make him to cry. But the things he's saying about all the leader is even making all the leaders followers to scream. Then you can imagine all the leader himself. I saw him also vow that once he leaves office, he will leave his successor to have peace and will not come to disturb him. That he's not the kind of person that disturbs his successor. His successor is the most disturbed successor in the whole Nigeria. So he has made a lot of vows which he had recanted. So if you don't like what the FCT minister is saying, just be patient. He will soon change.
Hello and what's up, guys? So Kenneth Okonkwo has called out the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, over his recent controversial statement. Wike boldly declared, "I am a typical unrepentant Ikwerre man. I am not Igbo." But Kenneth Okonkwo isn't buying it, and here is why. Okonkwo wasted no time breaking down the contradictions in Wike's actions and statement. He reminded everyone of how Wike during the PDP presidential primaries raised his hands and vowed to support whoever emerged as a candidate. Yet he later supported Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the APC. Okonkwo also pointed out how Wike once promised to allow his successor to walk in peace after leaving office, but now, according to him, Wike is one of the most disruptive predecessors Nigeria has ever seen. Okonkwo sarcastically added, "If you don't like what Wike is saying, just be patient, he will soon change his tune." Then Okonkwo went deeper, stating that by virtue of language and tribe, Ikwerre people are undeniably Igbo. He clarified that while it is Wike's constitutional right to reject the Igbo identity, it doesn't change the fact that by language and culture, he is Igbo. Okonkwo even suggested that Wike's denials come from a complex that's now making even his nationality an issue. Finally, Okonkwo praised the resilience and creativity of the Igbo people. He said, "The Igbo are one of the rare gems of the world. After the Civil War, they were given just 20 pounds to rebuild their lives. But within 10 years after the war, they became some of the wealthiest people wherever they are. They always add value and create solutions." Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I am talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
What do you think about the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, denying his Igbo ancestry?
Well, you see, the issue of the FCT minister denying his Igbo ancestry is actually very amusing. I've seen the FCT minister, for instance, raising his hand and vowing during the presidential primary of PDP that whoever emerges from this primary as the presidential candidate, that I vow to support the person. He later on supported Tinubu in the presidential election after the vow. And he started saying, no, it's because he's from the south. And then I was asking myself then, when you were making the vow, were you not aware that you had some northern candidates that were contesting? You contested with them. When you were making the vow, did you say, I vow that if any southern candidate emerged from this convention, I'm going to support the southern candidate? Is it, if any person, if anybody emerges, I vow, use the word vow, to support the person? I saw him also vowing he would never say anything against all the leader will make him to cry. But the things he's saying about all the leader is even making all the leaders followers to scream. Then you can imagine all the leader himself. I saw him also vow that once he leaves office, he will leave his successor to have peace and will not come to disturb him. That he's not the kind of person that disturbs his successor. His successor is the most disturbed successor in the whole Nigeria. So he has made a lot of vows which he had recanted. So if you don't like what the FCT minister is saying, just be patient. He will soon change. Let me talk about the issue of ancestry. Nobody chooses where he comes from. It's God that determines where you come from. That is one. Then secondly, the basis of nationhood from the ancient time is language. If you recall the Bible from the Tower of Babel, when God wanted to create nations out of the unipolar world, then he said, let us go and scatter their language. So when God did it, you discover that people now who understood each other, what they were speaking, now aggregated and became part of one nation. So it is language that determines your nationhood. Ikwerre is Igbo, 100%. Ikwerre go, na Chineke dị mma. Ikwerre. Wike means Wike, because in Igbo land, some dialects use the word Wike. If you remember, the former Senate president is Adolphus Wabara. So it's dialectical. Nyesom is Igbo. So by virtue of language, Ikwerre is Igbo. And it is in his constitutional right to say he does not want to identify as Igbo. That is constitutional right. But he cannot say he's not Igbo. Because by language, by tribe, he is Igbo and he doesn't have a choice about it. And again, if a Wike that is just a politician talks about Igbo, and the president of Ohanese, who happens to be an Ikwerre man, Senator Azoka Mbata, talks on what concerns Igbo, and then Wike's own political leader, who is Fubara, because the PDP concern is very clear. Once somebody is a governor, he is the leader of the state. If Fubara had welcomed Senator Azoka Mbata as the president of Ohanese, who is from Ikwerre, I would rather believe these people, because they have the political and cultural right to say where Ikwerre people are from. And then from their language, Azoka, the back is strong. It is pure Igbo. However, like I said, it is a man who has complex that is even making his nationality an issue. I tell you something, at times I go to church to give thanks to God for the honor and privilege of making me an Igbo man. You know why? Ndị Igbo are one of the rare gem in the whole world that can create their way out of any problem they are in. After the war, they were given 20 pounds. Before 10 years after the war, they are already the richest wherever they are, adding value, creativity. 22 years after the war, we were already creating living in bondage in Igbo, somewhere in Lagos, that has started in Hollywood, that is ranking about the second now in the whole world. Creativity, which is a gift from God. Before the war, you always hear about Igbo man. An Igbo man will sit down, and whenever he has any issue, he creates his way out of the problem. Do you know that since the Igbos were purged out of the civil service of Nigeria, out of the leadership from the highest quarters, Nigeria has never recovered from it? The best time of Nigeria was before the civil war. And then the Igbos were in charge of practically majority of the sectors in Nigeria. So what I'm telling you is that I thank God. I always ask God, what have I done for you to give me the privilege to be an Igbo man? And you can see it, because he has given me all the faculties, mental and physical, to survive without governmental assistance. Pure creativity. So Ndi Igbo are not looking for people to be Ndi Igbo. Ndi Igbo are already grateful to God that they are made to be Ndi Igbo. Ikwerre people are the ones who rightly identified themselves as Igbo, rightly indicated interest to be president of Ohanese, and Ndi Igbo from the southeast, knowing that they are our brothers. One thing you can't find in the DNA of an Igbo man is segregation. No, because by nature he's a traveler, he is a trader, and these two natural traits demand that you welcome everybody from wherever they come from. I'm sure that even if Yoruba and Hausa want to say they have become Igbo tomorrow, Igbos will still accept them, and all of us will be one. That is just it. So what he's saying that don't be surprised if you go to him private, with his voice. You can believe you can blow Igbo. You're happy here politics. You want to know your politics. You can blow Igbo. Happy here. You'll be surprised. That's what I'm saying. So Wike is Igbo. Well, let me say Ikwerre is Igbo. But Wike has the right, just like he has done before, to say he does not want to identify as Igbo. That's his fundamental human right. But if you don't like it, just be patient. He will soon change. ị karịa bụrụ onye Igbo